Alright, OBS says it's going. YouTube, please tell me you're going. Let me refresh the page. Yeah, it's changed. Come on. Show me something. I feel like I should restart my router. There have been just some things are not loading as they should be. Oh, there it is. Okay. Well, yeah. Of course, it goes green after it's like started the process of trying to refresh the page. Anyway, it was going. So let me just sit here for a little bit so the OBS actually hooks into the game and sees it. Yay, it sees it. Let's get going. Yeah. So back in Titan Quest because I want to keep playing it. Okay, I came down. So yeah, I've been busy this week, so I haven't. Even on the other character, I haven't been playing much. Yeah. It's good to be back, though. And also, yesterday was actually my last day, unless they need me to sub. So, yay. I can get back to doing other things. Things that don't pay me, but fun things. Unfortunately, yeah, I did post about this. So, when I did the Vega efficiency thing, and I found that, at least in Killing Floor 2, and this would happen in other games as well, maybe even this one. Well, it would be harder to tell if it happens in this one, because we have a 60 FPS lock. And my mind is just slightly turned off right there. I have no idea how I'd be able to get that. That at 60 FPS in Killing Floor 2, it would actually go down to like 47 watts of power. So it's like this is, and it was also near that even when in even when higher than 60. I think it was like up to 80. It would do that. And I was hoping I could investigate this more. It apparently is not just a matter of leaving it at stock, which is where this is happening, versus just finding the right undervolt. No, it's the auto setting. The auto voltage setting is what was allowing that to happen. Which means that short of there being like a voltage offset, which I don't even know if that is a thing on any GPU, there is no means of experimenting with that. At least not that I can think of. Short of like actually going in and doing, it is possible to edit all of the P states on a Vega, but it requires a BIOS hack. Well, not a BIOS hack, a registry hack, and I want to keep that rule of trying to use just what is offered, and that would doing a registry edit is not exactly in line with that. But in a way that it is still a very interesting and positive result. Okay, hang on. I'm sorry. There is. I don't know why it's like this. Let me. I saw it was green earlier, but right now on the laptop it's like, oh no, nothing's loading. There's nothing here to load. Oh, now it's figured out. Okay, yay. Because I still like being able to see. Oh, hang on. Actually, have some playback. Come on. All right, there. And I partially lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, that's that. What is nice is that what it also means though is that somebody who never goes into Wattman and like uses something like FRTC, or I think Chill is the better feature of the two. FRTC is nice, but there's certain benefits I see more that make Chill better. It's nice to see that basically, yeah, at stock, you're just using this feature because it's like, oh, this is something neat I can do. you are getting what you might be getting the optimal experience, so long as you're not, so long as you're always using it. That is one issue, is that because with the undervolt I was getting, you know, basically the same performance level as stock or better, but instead of the ASIC drawing, what was it, 120 watts? I think is what I was seeing typically as a peak. It would be drawing like 180. That's a significant drop from the undervolt at the high end. It's just at the low end, because it's not auto there, it's not so good there. Yeah. Okay. Now, I do know that AMD is aware of this issue, so hopefully we will eventually see them do whatever's necessary to fix it. And by fix it, I mean just have it where either you can tweak the voltage manually at the levels you need to sorry, at the levels you need to, or where auto is just better at stuff. Where's the, okay, there's one. I'll have this set up, it's fine. Yeah, I had a feeling that it would not be better than the small torch. Yeah. So yeah, I can't do that. I am trying to think, because I would like to do some kind of follow-up. I don't know what it would be. Because one follow-up I do not want to do is, and I have no issue explaining why I do not want to do this, is to do it, to basically do the same thing, although I don't know if I would, well, I'd have to download Wolfenstein 2 again in order to do it there. Whoa, okay, I need to back up. Would be like do it on the GTX 1080 I got. The reason I don't like, oh, I'm coming up to Cerberus. He's up here. He's like right up there. The reason I don't like that idea though is because it necessitates using third-party software, which may just be what is it, the Viva Tuna statistics server? And it's like I've had that enabled once years ago and I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It shit. Don't do that. Don't come up behind me. That's not cool. And just I don't like how it was operating, how it was hooking into things, and also I have had issues with hooks going into games causing them to crash. It's like, yeah, I want to avoid this. Plus, technically, I would need to redo all the Vega data if it captures it at all differently. That's not a good thing, because that means that the data cannot be directly compared. You son of a bitch. Well, at least I'm respawning like right over there. There was something else. Oh yeah, also that because the power measurements for Vega include the HBM, if I didn't have the ability to also include the GDDR5X on the 1080, the data would also be completely useless. There would be no value in comparing it. Yeah, so. But I still think that the Vega efficiency thing is interesting, because it does show that at the lower end, even at stock, so just where you are somehow constraining the performance, and maybe something like this, where where it is the game is limiting it, it might still work out that you're using appreciably. You can turn down power usage and yet still have good performance. I think it's this one. And that is something that, like, whenever the Acer Predator, oh, I don't remember all the names of it now. the gaming laptop that will have a, what did they say? Ryzen, was it a Ryzen 2700 or 2700X? I don't remember which it was. I'll hang on to that because I know I have others. But the one with that and a Vega 56 in there, that I know I saw one thing suggesting, and I've not seen an update on it since, suggesting that it would have like a 150 watt TDP as opposed to the oh, I don't remember what the stock TDP is for Vega 56 now. I did not go through and clean things out. Okay, so, but I do. See, I knew I had another one. I just. Huh. This is the better one for how I like to play. I'll hang on to both of them. But that one I like better. Because I like that converted to health aspect. Anyway, there. Now let's head back and weep because of Cerberus, or Cerberus, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Yeah, this is, I hate this fight. At least the respawn point is not far. Although true, the fact that I have that one thing is helpful. The ore. Because it does let me do more damage. And a good offense does serve as a good defense in games. And you know, one thing I am actually kind of curious about is, because it doesn't seem like you see it much. You don't see enemies, or in some cases yourself. Sometimes you do see it in yourself as well, where there is less damage being done after taking damage. Which is something that can be very real. That because something is injured or damaged, it's only able to do less. But it is very often, no, you don't see that kind of hit. It's just you've lost health. This is going a lot better than before. I wonder if I also have a speed boost on this guy that's helping. I might. Okay. Yeah, that went. You have no idea how much better that went than the other. Alright. I just think, what else is there to talk about? Well, there's the news I might put up shortly before starting this. A potential leak. Maybe it's not accurate. It would be cool if it is, though. Where's the... Picked up something else that was green. Ah, this is it. Alright. Yeah, that's not as big an improvement. Concerning the, oh yeah, I got these guys to talk now. The second generation thread, but I need to shut up with these guys. Sorry, I just want to go through all of them. And it is interesting. Hades gets such a bad rap. Not by him. Yeah, so the leaks for the second generation Threadripper, I'm still happy with what I got, but boy, potentially a $900 direct upgrade for what I have. So that's the 2950X, so 16 cores, 32 threads. That can boost up to 4.4 gigahertz. Oh, I don't need to talk to him. That would be that's pretty cool. I think I believe so. Yeah, it's right there. Okay. Yeah, that's really nice. Especially since it should be able to just drop right in to what to my current motherboard. May not be able to overclock at that as well, but would be able to drop it. Actually, no, it should be able to overclock just fine. It's the same TDP. This is actually as far as I've taken the other character, so I don't know what comes up next. But yeah, because it's the same TDP though, the 2950X should drop in after a BIOS update and be overclocked just fine in what's currently available for X399 boards. It would just be the WX ones, the ones that have the 4 dies in there, the 4 active dies. That's where you may see some boards being like, no, we can't overclock that. Not unless you want things to go pop. And you do not want things to go pop. Popping is not good. Wow. Completely missed all of them. But also, the fact that the 32 core 64 thread part, a base of 3 gigahertz, but a boost of up 4.2. That's nice. Yeah, of course I will. Ah, that felt good. I just cracked my ankle. I don't know if that would have come through or not. Alright. But yeah, so the 32 core part would base of 3 gigahertz, boost of 4.2 according to that leak, and TDP of 250 watts, which that's not that much. And at least as far as like my current cooling system, even though it is not, it's a H110 Corsair H110, so it's not got a full-size cold plate. Even that would probably be able to handle it, and maybe a little bit of overclocking, maybe not. Oh geez, maybe that's something I can talk about. I have not had the most positive impression from Corsair with dealing with getting the fans on it replaced, because both one was grinding, that got replaced without too much trouble, but the other wasn't spinning up properly, and getting that one replaced, the second one replaced, that just a number of issues I had with that. It has been replaced, but it just, yeah, the current system that Corsair, current process for their RMA is not the most fun. I mean, yeah, it just... And I guess I really should, especially since I have names, just go through it all. So, it's like, they can't defend themselves, so I need to just tell everything that happened. Alright, so, I need to replace, and I've talked about this already, the Lictech cooler that is the full-size cold plate for Threadripper. I needed to replace it a while ago, but because you do kind of need a cooler, I pulled out my old H110, which is a 280 millimeter radiator on it. So it's a good size cooler, and it has been working fine. But one of the fans was grinding whenever it would start spinning. Basically, if it kept spinning, it wasn't so bad, but definitely when spinning up, it was bad. So I get that replaced, and because it was actually just within the warranty. I think the warranty either expired in July or it expires this month in August. And I put it in June and discovered this, so it's like, okay, I'm just in time. So I had to deal with that. After getting the replacement is when I noticed that, wait a minute, the other fan isn't spinning up. They're on a splitter, so it's like it's getting power just as the other one is, but it wouldn't spin up with the other. It's like I could, physically move the fan, it would start spinning then, but it may not keep spinning. So it's like, okay, yeah, this needs to be replaced. And they wanted me to send them a video to show this behavior, which I find a little odd, but alright, whatever. I mean, that's just a little odd. That's okay, I need to take the side off, pull out my phone, get a video, put it up and share it. Not a big deal. I can't say I ever recall having to share a video for any kind of RMA. Typically, I have not needed to even include a picture. But anyway, that's just how that went. They ultimately did actually replace, decide to replace it. But it's also, they decided to replace it, and then it's like, okay, so we'll replace it. And it's like, okay, I've not heard anything saying that one is even shipping. Days have gone by. So I contact them and they say, oh, yeah, there's some, come on. There was some kind of internal problem in their database. So it, even though it's like, yes, you are getting a replacement, it never actually was being sent out. But then the person's like, okay, we'll take care of that. And it's set up for 2-day delivery. 2nd-day delivery. And it arrived technically on day 3. It's weird. That I don't even know if I could put on. It also said it was 3-day shipping, not 2-day. But anyway, what's weird though is that I never got any shipping information. It's like, so and the person said if you don't hear anything in 48 hours, okay. So I have him now. That's who he was. Okay. So, and my mind is partially switched off again. It's the weekend. It wants to do that. That guy's gonna die. Oh, maybe. Yeah, he's gonna die. So more than 48 hours, because that was on Friday. No, that was on Thursday, I think. It was Thursday or Friday. And nothing. Oh, wait, no. I contacted them on Thursday about it. On Friday morning is when the response was. Or it was weird. I don't remember the times. I'd have to pull it up, and I'm not doing that right now. But the point is, I contacted them on Tuesday saying I've not gotten anything. It's like that there's no information, it's not arrived yet, and no tracking information. Which I had gotten tracking information before, and they had even sent me the wrong fan at one point. It's like I had tracking information for that. I never got tracking information for this other one. And yeah, so I contacted them. On Wednesday, it just arrives. So it's like, okay, cool, I got it. But I still sent them a message because the process was very weird. I mean, it's like not getting that information is kind of annoying, but the main thing, and I don't even know why their system would be set up to do this. I was getting, like, this actually happened to me on Tuesday. Well, it would have been on Wednesday because I contacted them on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I got a message from them saying that if you do not reply to the support thread within hours, is what it actually said, is within hours, it will be closed automatically. And it's like, what? I'm the last one to comment. Why would it say that I have to respond now within hours to my own comment to keep it from closing? I don't get this. So what I did is just talking about that, and also that I never got the shipping information. Honestly, it's mainly that one, the fact that, and it happened multiple times, that I got that within hours it will be closed. I got that multiple times. It's mainly that annoyed me, and I did reply. I did put a comment in there just saying this makes no sense, and that this has not been as positive an experience as it could have been. In part because it's like you keep telling me I need to respond to myself. I can understand, and I believe there are companies that this is how they do it, and it makes perfect sense. If they respond to you and you don't respond, they automatically close. That makes perfect sense. I've got no issue with that. But this is you're the last one to respond. 24 hours later, if I don't respond again, it'll be closed. It's like, that makes no sense. But anyway, fortunately, I finally have the replacement fans, things running nice and cool and quiet, and it's wonderful. But it's just so annoying. I'm still kind of sort of thinking about trying to do custom cooling. You know, I just realized I still have this. Alright, so I did that. An immortal wisp? Wait, what? Huh? I'm confused by that a little bit. Wait, what? When activate, each enemy hit... Is it... okay. Huh, alright. Huh. I'm just... No, I didn't realize if I had to turn that back on. Sure. Why not? And there. Okay, it just follows me. It's just a permanent pet. I'm okay with that. I am a little confused though. If it is immortal, why does it even bother having a health bar? It's something else I'm kind of curious about. How many can I have? Alright, I'm gonna put it over here, like that. Okay, still just one. Which is fine. It would be a lot if I would abuse that. Especially since it's a one-time cost. So yeah, I don't know how exactly powerful that may end up becoming, but... That's just a passive, so... Oh, okay, I see. So it gives... Alright, cool. So that would give this the ability to just boost my damage, my elemental damages, and considering with this I do a lot of elemental damage, that would actually be really nice. Yes. Alright. Oh yeah, and those together would be nice as well. Alright, I want to kill this last thing before I go back and get another messenger. Holy crap, those things do a lot of damage. Um, yeah, at this point, going back, remembering what the hell I was talking about before, um, if I were to do a custom water cooling thing, I would have to do something else first, which is just get basically rearrange things in my room, because no, I don't think I could do that. It would involve too much to have it where to still have the desktop where it is. I would need a different location for that. I know where I could put it. It's just the thing there. I would need a place to put that, and I don't have a place for that. I am still thinking about maybe trying. Well, I don't really need to, but redoing some things in the case though, like the come on, all right, the hard drive cage. There's two portions to it, and you can remove one. I might move. There's one hard drive in one of them. I could move that one into the other. I don't know why it's down there actually, and then remove that lower hard drive cage, and that would open up more of the bottom, and it would let me move the. So you guys don't care about him. Let me move one of the case fans back to actually be at the front, as opposed to trying to pull the air through the hard drive cage. Which doesn't seem the best design, but you know, it works. Yeah. I'm also I have an idea. I need to wait on some information first before making a purchase, but because I still got this whole unfortunate setup that sorry, is because the headphone jack in my amp died. That instead of being able to just easily and conveniently plug my headphones into that, I need to plug it into the audio interface, which works. But the idea I had is I might get a new audio interface, one that has outputs on it that could then go into the amp, and then just use that headphone jack, so I can have it. Right now, the audio interface is on my right, and it's just okay. Hey. So I'm going to talk to him again. Yeah. See, I knew it would say, okay, well, you're the one that has to go and do this. So... Alright. So, I mean, I guess that's just someone else. You got plenty you got quite a few to spare there. No, see, now I don't know. Now it's gone. Whatever I was thinking about to say next, I forgot. Ah, damn it, more of those things. Oh, shit. But yeah, so right now, try and do custom. I'd like to try to do custom liquid at some point in a system, just to have that experience, to potentially actually see those benefits, but it's just, for physical reasons, not feasible right now. And for economic reasons, too. But definitely physical. I don't have a place to put it. Oh yeah, that's right, I was talking about the audio interface. Yeah, I found a couple that I could have the line out on that go into the amp, and then just use the headphone jack on them, and be able to switch, be able to turn off the feed to the amp easily enough, without having to just go in and constantly change the device in Windows, because it's like, if I forget to do that, it's just annoying. And also sometimes, not all games, well, not all applications, like seeing the device change after they are open. So it's like this: if I were to launch Titan Quest and forgot to swap the device first, it will not. There will be no audio. Well, sort of. It'll just, like if I don't switch from the amp to the audio interface, it will be just going through the speakers, which is a problem because that means that the mic will pick it up. Yeah. Also, this would be relevant for Minecraft as well. That's another thing that when it launches, it picks its audio device and sticks to it. It won't change it. Yeah, well, so much for them. I mean, it's not a problem. I'm the hero here. I can do it. So yeah, I might do that. Right now, it's just I need to figure out what I want to get. It's like I got it down to like 2. I need to check on certain things about both. Well, about one mainly. It is hard to get good information on some of these. But there's the Tasman? Wait, now my mind is blanking on the name of it. US 2x2, 2x2. That looks like that should work. It's just I need to know if the balanced line outs can be easily made to unbalanced, because that's what the amp has, is unbalanced inputs. And it's just, there's also, it's weird. I see some people saying, oh no, it's great, it's wonderful, and that it sounds better than these other things. But other places I see talking about how, yeah, the drivers suck. Well, good thing you got me then. The other would be the Scarlett 2i2. I don't actually, both of them have 2 XLR inputs. I don't actually need to, but I like the idea of having that there, because technically I do now have 2 microphones. I have the one I'm currently using, I have the old one that had failed, but then started working after my dad basically took it apart, took pieces off that had failed, and then put them back on. It's weird how electronics can be like that. Oh, I wonder how it died. It's like, it's immortal until it dies. I don't know. Anyway, it had disappeared. It did disappear. Yeah, so it's like that. There's that one, and then there's, well, yeah, like I said, the Scarlett 2i2. I'm kind of leaning towards the Testament. It's like there's some aspects to that design that I like, and it looked like I was seeing more things saying that it is technically the better of the 2, not necessarily by much, but technically the better. And there are certain aspects, like I just said, to its design that I like better. It just, the other, though, the Scarlett, has apparently better software support to it, so yeah, hopefully I'll get the answer about the balance versus unbalance. They are both about the same price, though, so. One thing I did see, though, that would be definitely a plus for me with the Testament is it looked like in some of the newer software for it, it can have just a straight stereo out. You don't need a DAW, desktop audio workstation, I believe is what that stands for. So I wouldn't need this other thing to go through to record stuff. Still be able to use OBS. The Scarlett will probably work fine with OBS as well, and yeah, it's 6-1 half dozen the other kind of situation, but it's still you have to buy one, only one. Oh, sorry. I thought there were enemies here because there was loot. All right. Well, actually, I want to check something. I am running it fast. Okay. I thought I was, but I just wanted to check. Let me see. What else is I talking? Oh man, look like there have been more rumors, mainly about when than what, but when the next NVIDIA GPU series will be out. And I'm still seeing, sometimes when I see these rumors, it's like some say that it's the 1100 series, some say it's the 2000 series. I mean, it still, to me, does not make sense why they would go to 2000 when they've been incrementing by 100 for so many years. But then also, I think that there would have been people saying you shouldn't name it the GTX 1080, because people will think it's a 1080p card, when it's not. That card is a 1440p capable card. The Ti is a better 1440 card, but it's still the 1080 is capable of 1440p. So don't make people think that it's that. But then also, true, they did have the GTX 480, and there's the RX 480. So neither of those. So in both those cases, it's like we're talking. You have an association to a resolution that is not what that thing should be running at. Yeah. This is just too small a place to fight one of those things. There. All right. I don't. I don't see anything really interesting coming with those GPUs unless NVIDIA finally makes an effort to be on better parity with AMD for the features and quality design to their drivers. It's like, I know people still say, oh, but NVIDIA drive is so much better. It's like, well, it's not if you have to use them. It's just, that's how that is. AMD drivers, it's like, you want to go in and customize stuff, you can do that, and it's a nice experience. It is not a nice experience with NVIDIA. And also things like Chill, which I don't know if NVIDIA even can do that, because part of how AMD got that is by buying a company that actually came up with that kind of technology. So I don't know if NVIDIA would or can come up with an equivalent, their counterpart. I mean, I know this is supposed to be the real-time ray tracing acceleration. That's kind of neither here nor there. I mean, it's like, you can say, oh, we finally have real-time ray tracing capabilities. It's like, yeah, AMD's had that for a while, though. It's just been something for professional rendering solutions. But their solution is hardware agnostic. It just uses OpenCL. It'll work on CPUs and GPUs, and it doesn't have to be AMD CPUs or AMD GPUs. It's like, I'm sorry, this is the truth. We've had real-time ray tracing for better than a year. Real-time accelerated. Sorry, what am I saying? Accelerated ray tracing we have had for years, for better than a year. I don't actually remember when Radeon Rays came out, but it's been more than a year. I do know that. And this is ignored. I mean, true, it has not been a thing used in games, but it's still, we have had the technology, so it could have been in games if somebody figured out and chose to try to stick it in there. They just hadn't. That's a better place. So yeah, we'll have to see what comes of that. And even then, it'll be interesting if it turns out that the solution is not as hardware dependent as people think. And what I mean by that is, it would not surprise me if it were to turn out that, like, the current Pascal stuff can do the, yeah, this will work fine. Let's try and remember which one. Is if it turns out that the hardware, yeah, it could do the accelerated ray tracing, it just isn't going to be allowed to. I mean, it could always be that it doesn't do it well, but that it's still capable of it. Oop, I did not want to sell that. Yeah, I need that. Actually, well, yeah. Okay. Huh. Well, no. Alright. But yeah, so we'll see what ends up coming of that. Oh, yeah, stick one there. There. I got a healthy bit of experience from that guy. Alright, but yeah, I mean, we'll just have to see what ends up coming from that. But I also wouldn't think there'll be a massive performance boost either, just because there's not going to be a huge process change. I mean, it at best would be 16 nanometer to 12 nanometer. Which, yeah, it was actually interesting. I saw mainly some of the foundry information concerning the current 12 nanometer process of the second generation Ryzen parts has come out, and that while the feature size is smaller, they're not making them smaller. Where it was something like ideally the features that the foundry would make into silicon would be a perfect pillar, a perfect, like a rectangular prism. They're not, though. They're trapezoidal, because that's how reality is. It's not perfect. I think I'm interpreting this engineering correctly. What 12 nanometer is versus the 14 nanometer process of the first generation Ryzen is it tightens that. It makes that trapezoid closer to a rectangular prism. But while that could allow you to more densely pack them, that is not what AMD decided to do with their design. They are using the same density, but the features themselves are better. That could end up being the same thing, going from 16 to 12 for NVIDIA. I don't know, because I'm pretty sure it's GlobalFoundries that's doing all of the Ryzen stuff, first and second generation, currently, at least. And NVIDIA only uses TSMC, so their process could be quite different. But I still think that that is interesting. And that and that we shouldn't see much, and that we might not, I shouldn't say that we should, we may see it. I just personally have my doubts that we will see a huge performance increase. Some, yes, but would it be like, some people are hoping and expecting the 1170 to be able to directly compete with the 1080 Ti? No, I don't think that. I could see the 1180 maybe reaching up to that, but I don't think that the 1170 would. I find that very, very unlikely. Plus, I don't think NVIDIA would want to. And this is just entering my mind now, because it's like, if you did that, that would potentially invalidate 1080 Ti sales. It's like people who spent all that money, unless the 1170 were at that price, in which case NVIDIA's not going to sell many. People will just stick to Pascal, stick to the 1000 series. I mean, it's the 1080 Ti becoming the 1180 in terms of performance. but not value, the 1180 being cheaper, that would work. 1170, because doing that, no, because that would be too inexpensive, unless if they keep relative pricing the same. But it's also then, well, the 1180 would have to beat the 1080 Ti, and an 1180 Ti would have to beat that. I find that very unlikely, without a significant node change. So, I could be wrong. This is just me uneducated guessing. But I think that, the gains will be there, but might be modest. And that it'll mostly come down to architecture improvement than actual, like, oh my god, we have so much more raw performance. So it'd be more like from the 400 to 500 series or the 600 to 700 series, but not like the 900 to 1000 series. Yeah, that is my sense of it. Now what Navi will do, that is a lot harder to guess at. Navi will be 7 nanometers, so in that regard, well, most likely will be 7 nanometer. I think that, no, it was on the roadmap that it would be 7 nanometer. So in that regard, should be a significant performance increase. It should also have a fair amount of architectural improvements. No idea past that, though. The thing after that, though, because there's some speculation, AMD will go back to the VLIW, the very long instruction word, which is what you saw prior to GCN. Although, it's they can improve GCN. They can come up with a full new version of GCN, but it's like they can't abandon GCN. It's just because they were right. We are using compute more and more, and that's part of what GCN brought was strong, healthy compute. And yeah, it's like, hey, that accelerated ray tracing, that's using compute. That's something GCN is making possible. So they can't walk away from it. But they could do things to help to separate between the graphics and compute so that you can get more graphics out of it. But it just... people insult GCN as though it's the problem, and it's not. It is proven very effective, very good. It just, and whatever comes after it needs to carry on its strengths. Just also needs to find ways to improve on its weaknesses. Alright. And down. Good. Where was it that I saw something? I just was remembering something else when talking about, when people seen something talking about the 10 nanometer, Intel's 10 nanometer, and that they may want to move very quickly away from 10 nanometer once they get it going. And that also it might be more like a 12 nanometer than a 10 nanometer. That they are really not going well there. Which is great for AMD. Gives them more time to compete. Well, to outcompete them. Because let's face it, Threadripper outcompetes Intel. I should be actually wrapping this up soon. And I see the rebirth fountain there. That's probably where I'll stop. Crap, there was something that crossed my mind to mention. And oh yeah, I can talk about that. Something I'm kind of tempted to do. I don't know if I will do because I like doing streams. I like doing gameplay videos, but man, there's part of me tempted to do a technical video. Just because, like, there's some tech tubers that I like seeing what they do. One of them, Hardware Unbox, they put out a video recently that just... there's too much stuff in there that I know is incomplete or inaccurate. And it annoys me. So there's a part of me that's really tempted to make a video basically doing it better. The concept of the video is a good one to have. It's a good one to talk about, which is there a benefit to running a monitor above 60 FPS if the cycle rate is only, if the refresh rate is only 60? And when I was, I just want to say, when I was running like Wolfenstein 2 at 60 versus other frame rates to do the Vega efficiency thing, no, you do feel it being smoother. Even at just 70 FPS feels better than 60. And I'm dead. It's just, this is what my experience was. So, yeah. If you say that, no, you shouldn't run above 60, no, you're wrong. It does actually feel better. But, man, so much technical stuff in that video was wrong. Or not complete. I should say it is not complete. But it's like treating VSync as only double buffering. That's it. There's no other kind of VSync than that, unless you're talking about fast sync, in which case they seem to just be quoting whatever NVIDIA says about it. And it's like, that is not the case for fast sync. Fast sync is garbage. I will say that because that's my own opinion. And also it is what, when I did that Series Statistics 2, the sync encounter, I think was the full name of it, where I looked at the actual frame time data on fast sync, it is garbage. Because, yeah, it gives you this pseudo triple buffering, driver-side triple buffering, which as a concept is great to have. But it forces the frame rate to be a multiple of the refresh rate. Which means then that for 60 FPS, my monitor, it needs to run at 120 FPS to kick in. I don't remember if it was also doing it at 90. It may have been. But it probably wasn't. I think it is an integer multiple. But it's like, then at 120, that's it. If I can reach 180, it'll pop up to that, but then it'll pop it back down to 120. That's not a good experience. That popping up and down, you do notice that. You do notice that there is a frame rate limit in place. Because it's not a good experience. And they're just like, oh, well, here it is. And they don't even explain what triple buffering is in general as something separate from fast sync. I think I'm just going the wrong way. And then just describe enhanced sync, AMD's driver-side triple buffering as equivalent. And it is not. It is a counterpart. It is not equivalent, though. I described it as a counterpart in that article I did that came out back in December. And I even remember when I was looking back at it, that yes, when I wrote that it is the counterpart, I actually took my time thinking about what word should I use, because you would normally want to say it's the equivalent or it's the response. It's like, well, response is like, it's accurate, but it's not really fair to just put it that way, because it's like, oh yeah, that's the only reason it exists. But it is not equivalent because it is better. It doesn't have this frame rate limit on there. Fast sync is not that good. Enhanced sync really is. It's like it was giving me driver-side triple buffering without, so there's no limit on the frame rate, which is why triple buffering exists, is to disconnect your engine performance and your refresh rate, because it's always able to draw to a back buffer, and then just, and so there's always one full back buffer. Okay, I should probably explain what the hell these buffers are. So if you run in like exclusive full screen or something, your GPU is rendering the frame to the front buffer. It's just a section in its memory. And that section, actually I'm going to go this way, so give me more time before going to that rebirth fountain. That is also what is scanned out, which is from top to bottom, left, well, I don't think it needs to be left to right anymore, but definitely top to bottom to your monitor. And the monitor also displays it from top to bottom, which, why it does that I don't know, but whatever. That's a whole separate thing. What VSync will do is it tries to make sure that the rate at which it appears, at the rate of, it tries to synchronize the writing to the front buffer to the scanning out of the front buffer, so that you don't see any tearing. Because if the GPU starts writing into the front buffer while it is being scanned out, then you can have information from this newly rendered frame in part of the screen and from the previous frame that was replaced at the same time on the same screen. That's tearing. You get, and you'll see a line there. That's not desirable. How double buffering fixes this is it gives a back buffer. So the front buffer will always hold a full frame that will not be touched while it is being scanned out. The back buffer, however, is where it can be written into. The problem with double buffering, though, is that it will still limit what the engine can go at. The game engine, the driver, whatever you want to refer to it as. It will limit it because once the back buffer is full, it will not be allowed to write to it. It is protected because we don't want to have, when it then has to flip the front buffer and the back buffer, so it's scanning out the next frame, we don't want it to have to scan out a partial frame, because then what's the point of the VSync? Now this means that every frame is going to be one cycle late, so 16.66666 so on milliseconds later, which on its own is not great, but it's not horrible. It's not like you're going to die from that, or really lose much from your experience from that, unless you are like hyper competitive in your games. And there are people that are like that. Good for you. I'm not. And for a lot of games like this one, you don't, that latency shouldn't make a difference. Okay, why do I feel like those guys are not being hit? Because they're not. Thank you for finally taking a hit. What triple buffering does is it adds a second back buffer, which is really nice because that means that there's always, because while one back buffer can be full, the other back buffer can be written to, and it'll just, okay, I wrote to that one, now I can, so that has full frame and it's newer than this one, so drop that and start writing a new one there. And that's great. And that is what FastSync claims to do, but it has this weird frame rate limit on there, and what Enhanced Sync does actually appear to do. And they just completely gloss over this at Hardware Unboxed. It's like, this is a significant technology, and it is important, and you're just ignoring, and you're not covering it properly. And also they made an assumption in there that I know is also incorrect, that the input is, because they were looking at it in terms of input latency, which can be an issue, that you want the newest input information in the frame that is being shown to you. When it's older, you notice that. And they only showed it as, imagining that your GPU can render the frames at 120 FPS, but the monitor is only 60 FPS, and it's limiting it to 60 FPS, that it finishes that in the first 8 1/3 milliseconds. And that then it waits for 8 1/3, which means that by the time it's finally shown, the input is 16.7 milliseconds old. Well, the problem with this is that while that can be true in some cases, we do have the ability to delay when that frame is started. That's actually one of the things that Radeon Chill and FRTC do, the frame rate target control. It delays when it starts the frame. And other applications do this as well. And I know this because I found that happening. One of the graphs, I would have to pull up the article to look at it, in Series Statistics 2 Sync Encounter, shows this. There's a delay of the 16.7 milliseconds, but I think this was borderless when I was doing borderless full screen with the FRTC limit at 60 FPS. You can see all the frames, and when they're hitting, are following these diagonals, because it has to be conservative with that delay for starting, so that if it guesses wrong, you don't end up you don't end up having to repeat a frame. And this this correction to make sure that that doesn't happen, it just ends up shifting it earlier and earlier and earlier until it finally reaches a point that it's a full 6.7 milliseconds off, and then it resets it back. So you see these diagonal lines there. It's like, we know we can delay, and yet this is just not touched on there. And it's just, but it's mainly to me that triple buffering. It's like, come on. Another reason why I know about you can delay, because also in that time period to render a frame, you can have the inputs pulled at a different point. It doesn't have to be at the beginning, it can be later. Why do I know this? Because I've had to teach a Unity tutorial for a long time. For about 2 years now. That's what I was actually doing this past week at work, was teaching some of the stuff. And one of the things in there is, instead of using the void update process, the void update call, you use the late update, so that it'll pull information on inputs later into the process of rendering the frame. Because update is every time you're getting a new frame, so late update is a little bit into that, so that it is minimizing that input latency. So it's like, we can already, within the formation of the frame, within the rendering of the frame, delay when it gets the inputs so that it can be more accurate. So that there will be lower latency. So it's like, this is wrong. I have a problem when I know technical information and people don't. And I feel that they should. Because part of that is just for some of the stuff, it's like, yeah, I spend the time researching it and doing it. But that's because I got a weird life that I do this kind of stuff. It's like, I'm probably one of the few people that do a weekly stream like this, that do regular streaming like this, that can actually talk about some of the different differences between different 264 encoders. There's probably a lot that they just have it working for them, and they're happy. They are happy. I'm happy too, until I see people get it wrong. Yep, I should really just stop this. Especially because I've probably been sounding like an asshole for a while now. Not gonna say that's wrong. Maybe I am. Hopefully, I will see you guys next week. And you will see me playing, probably still this game. Probably still Titan Quest. Right now, I don't have a reason to move to something else. But I might, because I want to get it done, move on to other things. I do. But it's fun to play. I want to keep playing. Anyway. Hey, maybe next week, though, I'll have a new audio interface, and maybe it'll be cleaner. We'll see. We will see. So much could happen in a week. Trust me, I know. A lot of stuff happened this week. Some of it really crazy. A lot of stuff happened last week. Not so crazy. Boy, I hope my weeks stay not crazy, but interesting. Anyway, see you next week.